All right. That was not the smoothest transition, I would say, ever to going live. I just had to send that out. And now I can get in here. All right. I don't know why my chat's not popping up. Let's see if I can reload it. If my chat will pop up. There we go. What is good? What is good? How are you guys doing? I haven't been here on the weekend doing a breakdown, like a weekly like analysis in a minute. So it's good to be back. I actually finally got my two new monitors. I had a really busy day yesterday. Finally got two new monitors. Actually, I got them 2 days ago, but I was way too tired the first day to put them up. And yesterday, I had to stream, do a lot of, create a lot of content. So it was long. But I got them up and running, and I'm ready to get into these charts. So I haven't even taken a look at the charts for yet, so it'll be interesting to see what we got going on here. So we're currently at a key level here with the DXY. Now we can just see that price has just been bullish for the past couple weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, right? This, if we continue to break this week and we close above these levels here, I think the next week to form a bottom wick and continue pushing bullish is what we could likely see, and we could start seeing these larger time frame weekly structures get hit here, and like here we have resistance. So these two zones is where I would look for price to start targeting if we do get a closure above. Now, if we don't see this closure above and the current weekly rejects off of this level, especially if we get like a bearish weekly closure, this is a good indication that price is going to go ahead and target back down to these weekly lows down here in the direction of the trend, and that would be an absolutely amazing move right there. But definitely we've been waiting for these moves in particular, so that is what I'm inclined to. But as of right now, I can't just fight this bullish wave that we've been on, so I'm not looking to fight it. I'm gonna just go ahead and wait. I'm gonna keep riding in the direction of the current wave until price shows us on the smaller time frame that it's time to go down, and then when it is time to go down, then we can capitalize on those moves there. So looking at the daily time frame, we know we had the impulsive move down, what we think was a corrective structure, but now could potentially be a break for new highs, and this will be the high. This is our key high right here. So why is this our key high? Let me turn this down some. So this is my key high up here at 104.6, and let me just move it up so it don't say that. All right, 104.716 levels, and it is my key high because if we take a look here, let me full screen this so I can see. Let's go move this over. There we go. All right, so why this is my key level here is because you can see we have our low right here. This was the starting move to break this low for now a new low corrective structure, and if price is going to go down, it won't break this high, and we could start seeing price push now to the downside here. And what this would be likely, let's go to the monthly time frame. We would see a relatively bearish, what is it? It's currently August, so next month is September, so a bearish September. That's what we would anticipate if price respects this level. Now if we get a breakout of this level here, now we can start seeing price potentially push bullish, understanding that on the monthly time frame we are creating higher highs and higher lows, and the monthly is bullish. So overall price is just in a bullish wave on the monthly, is having trouble breaking this level here. So let's mark that out. It's having problems. Let's just remove all of the drawings here. So it's having problems breaking this low here at let's see, what is this level? 101.502. And so that's why if this current monthly closes bullish and we see that break of that high on the weekly time frame, and only reason why I'm looking at the monthly is because this monthly is about to come to an end. So it's likely that with all the volume that happened from this monthly, that this monthly is just going to close bearish. This next week is not going to force all of this move down. I mean, that would be nice. And it actually could, because we've seen just in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and really it took a long wave. I doubt it. So likely this monthly just closes bullish how it looks. So if we get a break of the previous high here on this weekly time frame, we could potentially start to see a steeper move up for the DXY. And so what does that mean on these smaller time frames? Because we obviously don't just trade this monthly time frame. Right now I want to see how price reacts in this level. So in this current level, how does the first daily candle close? If we get a daily bearish engulfing, so something like, let's say this, let's draw this out. Template, let's go sell candle. It's literally in bold. So if we get the first daily to look like this, something along the lines of, you know, a bearish, strong bearish candle in this time, maybe something more similar to that, we could start to see potentially this the next daily form the bearish candle. This is just how, this is my poor design of it, but something like this is what we would want to start seeing potentially, like let's say 2 or 3 of these, then a corrective structure, and now a continued push down. That's what we would want to see for the DXY, and that's what I would be looking for if price is going to be bearish. Now if we get like price push up and we get a break in closure above these levels up here, and I doubt it would be this wild, but then we could potentially see price continue to push up. We'll see how it retests at this level and then a continued bullish move, and it will likely be just a top wick or a bottom wick from the next daily and price to close bullish. And now we would start targeting these levels up here. That would be my next target. So that's what I would look for on the daily. How I would capitalize on it on the smaller time frame is just really, I want to see how the daily close. This isn't honestly the cleanest chart currently. Let's pull this up here. Let's go to EUR. I don't trade the DXY. I just use it to set my overall bias. But as for EUR USD, I do believe that we could still see a continued sell move down. Like price has just been bearish, and I think we could potentially see, if this monthly is just going to close how it is, bearish, I think it's likely that we just see the rest of this week continue to push down, which is the sell pressure is heavy based on the daily time frame. Price has just been continually going down. So this is our wave here that we're looking to trade on the daily time frame, and we're not looking to fight this wave. This wave has been down. Nothing has indicated within this wave that the larger time frame structures are bullish. The larger time frame structures are bearish, so we would have to capitalize on a bear move. So specifically for EUR USD, if we take a look, let's say at the 1 hour time frame, because our daily time frame is bearish, so I come down to my 1 hour time frame, I see we have relatively equal lows here. Price is on this bearish wave. I personally would want to see, let's say, a break of these lows, a corrective structure to either retest in these levels or back up to our key level of demand or supply, excuse me, and then to target whatever the low is, just to continue riding whatever the trend that we currently have. What would invalidate that? Breaks to these highs up here. So why would I say that a break of this high right here would invalidate this move for it to be a sell move? Well, it's very simple. This was our previous low that we had right here. This was our previous lower high. So this was the lower high at first. We created a new low, lower high, relatively equal highs here. And then price continued to push down for a new low, and this is why this would be invalidated if price breaks above this high here. We get a corrective structure and we can see a push, a bullish push. What I think is more likely that price just continues in the direction of the trend for the rest of the week, and we see, even if we do see a steeper move back up here, we could look for potential sell positions for price to continue pushing down. And the best move for me likely would just be a break of this low here, corrective structure, retest, and then a continued push down. That would be my next move for EURUSD. So for me, I'm just going to set an alert here so that I know. And since we're doing this on Saturday, no, I need an alert. Let's pull this up here. So since we're doing this on Saturday, when this alert goes off, I want it to tell me give me a little quick rundown of what I'm looking for EU, and then I'll be able to go to the chart and be like, oh, okay, this is what we were looking for. Instead of having the alert just go off and I forget why is this alert going on, you know? So it just, excuse me, I'm over here trying to get my mic right. But that's why I do this. So let me see. EURUSD. New low created, look for potential retest entries to continue for new low. All right. So now that I got that set, that'll go off when the market is open and when price breaks this low. I don't want it to alert me before this low is broken, so I need this low to be broken. There at 107.651, that's about what I'm looking for. So let's go to GBPUSD. GBPUSD, likewise, price has just been creating lower lows and lower highs. We have a low created after we broke this low here. Corrective structure. This was our previous lower high that started the break for this new low. What do we got get after that? We got a new low created as it broke for this low. So new low created. We got our break of structure. Now what I'm looking for, I would need the low that we had created. And honestly, if this wasn't a Friday, this sell move for it happened literally 2 hours before markets closed. But let's just say if this was on Tuesday during our session, during London session, and we seen this candle close bearish after this new low was created, this would be an entry for me personally to take sales. And it's likely I would go to a smaller time frame and watch for the first candle that closes bearish, which is this one right here. So it would be this candle, likely this candle, because I think this was the first 1 hour candle that closed bearish. So we got the double candle wick rejection, key retest levels. It just fell just short of it, so we could still see a steeper push back up. But honestly, after the 1 hour, it looks like the entry would have had to been on this 1 hour here. And then stops above the high that was created for now, a target of back down into these lows would be a trade that I would have been interested in if that was like within my session time. So the fact that it's not within the session time is why we wouldn't why I personally wouldn't have taken this trade. And it literally happened 2 hours before the markets closed. But this would have been a nice trade. I don't know who Phil. I don't know who that is. I'm glad you think that I provide a lot of value. I'm okay with just coming here and sharing this value to people who are interested in hearing it. That makes it worth it to me, because those are the people who want it. Honestly, at the end of the day, you're here to get some value, and honestly, I just want to share the value, as much free value as I can. And that is why I am here. But you can see kind of the same thing with AUD USD. We got a break of that new low here, corrective structure, a bearish 1 hour candle, and really you probably could have seen this one. Yeah, so this one we could have seen earlier. Like GU. So GU, if we look at GU and we go to the 30-minute time frame, GU, I would say the earliest indication was this one, but we didn't get like a solid push into this level. So this one would have left me a little susceptible, and that's why I would have waited for this 1 hour candle, especially with this double candle wick rejection. That's a good sign. But if I go to AUD USD, I already know, looking at this wick right here, that our entry came a little bit earlier, and it did. If you take a look here, even on the, let's see, dial down to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, let's refine our area here. This is our area, right? This is our candle that started the break for this new low. So when it tapped into this level here, and you can even see it on the 15-minute time frame, would have likely been the best entry, because we got the full candle close after tapping into this level. Let's see if we can find an even. Wow, I guess the 5-minute would have been, if you seen it on the 5-minute at this time, this would have been the best entry. And it's just a more refined entry. You just have to wait for that bearish candle to close after tapping into that level, and it doesn't really matter which time frame it happens on. I mean, these are all going to be great trades, but your best trade is like, and you have to be literally watching this for this to capitalize on this move. But this was the best entry right here, with a stops above the high, and then you still have the same target of back down to this low. And this will give you your highest risk to reward. But also, even if you, let's say you caught it on the 15-minute after this 15-minute candle close, this isn't a bad trade either. With the stops, a 1 to 7 is a 1 to 3 realistically is great. That's why even if you got it on a 30-minute time frame, and even potentially on the 1 hour, the 1 hour wouldn't have been the best place. But definitely this 30-minute candle here, closing like that, stops above, you still secure yourself a 1 to 4 risk to reward. And these are all great trades. This would be the best trade, obviously, but this move, even if you weren't able to get that one after all of these candles close, these are still viable trades. Anything above, let's say, like a 1 to 3 realistically, and even a 1 to 2 sometimes, depending on what the move is, or 1 to 2.5. But so these are all would have been great trades, but that would have been the earliest entry you could have gotten is after this 5-minute candle close, and the trade itself would be running like a 1 to 7 already. And then this trade would be running 1 to 3, which would be great. That 30-minute, I think that was a 15-minute time frame trade, and this one would be running nearly 1 to 2. So all great trades. It just sucks that they happen at the time that they happen. So the next move for me would be a break of this new low down here. And honestly, since there's so much range to fill to the downside for AUD USD, it's likely we can get an entry on, let's say, a pullback to retest back into this levels for a continued pushback down to now target the lows. And what do I mean by this? We took this same type of trade not last week but 2 weeks ago for EU, and this is the entry right here. So let's just go bar replay. Okay, so you can see that we had a low created here. This was our low. And this is a trade we actually capitalized on 2 weeks ago for EURUSD. So this is our low. This is our high that started the break for this low. Obvious and clear. This was the first entry for that move to the downside. This would have been the first entry. What we ended up getting is we refined our zone down here on a 30-minute time frame, and we ended up getting the re-entry because our target overall is still this level down here. Price just gave us a potential, re-entry, and generally the best way to capitalize would be to get the first move and get the re-entry to our target, but we didn't catch this move, so we ended up catching this. I believe it was this one. Yeah, this move here. I'm gonna show you my entry. So this was my refined zone for my re-entry. We went ahead and took sales for price to target back down. And I think I secured majority of my profits at these lows, but my overall target should have been here. And I held a portion there, but I should have held the whole trade into this level, I believe. Because even looking back on it, I had told myself that I should have held. And when it made this first push down to this level, I went ahead and secured a majority of that trade. And like 80% of it, and I left 20% to run to my full take profit, but I knew that this was my key low that I was targeting, so I should have held for the full 1 to 5 instead of the 1 to like 3 almost. So just little things like that, little different improvements. Even though it was a profitable trade, how could I have done better? And what I'm seeing for AUD USD is like we could potentially start to see something similar to that. And this actually even has cleaner price action. So if we don't get back down to this low, back down here, and we get a corrective structure and price comes back into tap into these levels of supply here, this would be a good trade for price to continue pushing down. And I think I actually really like this one the most, honestly. So what I'm gonna do for AU is, first of all, let's unflag this one, let's flag this one, and let's flag EU. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set an alert for price to alert me when it gets. I want it to let me know when it gets right here. So if it gets up here, I want to be notified that price is, so I can start to watch it to see if it can come up into this refined level, because I want it to alert me here, so if it comes up to here, I'll be able to be ready to take an entry at that time. So I want to know when price gets up here, if it does get up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this alert. AUD USD potential sell entry. Get moving ASAP. This is a hot one. I gotta be notified, and I gotta be on my phone when that goes off, because I could potentially miss my entry if I'm not quick to it. And then I also want to be notified when price breaks this low. So if it doesn't come up here and it does just go down to break this low, I want to be notified when it breaks the low, because then I can start looking for another potential entry to ride the direction of the trend. And I haven't broken it down on the larger time frame, because essentially all of these time frames are the same. All of these USD pairs are the same, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and but AUD USD, the trade that I'm going to be looking for next, like the most recent trade. And generally, I would say with AUD pairs, they're the first ones that start the move or the wave of the moves, if that makes sense. Because when market sessions open on Sunday, it's Asian session, so their banks are trading at that time, which means they can have volume. Sometimes they have high volume news events as well. So different things of that nature is why AUD USD at times is the first one to move. Sometimes it's EUR USD as well. So it just flip flops. It just depends on like what the news is for the week, and we should actually take a look at that here. And we should, from here on out, I should start all of these streams by taking a look at the news. So AUD USD, new low created. Look for potential retest. All right, so let's actually take a look for a second here. Let's pull up my FX book. Um, there we go. So let me pull this up, make this a little bit bigger, so we can take a look at what's going on this week for the news. So we can, and I don't trade news in particular. We just look at the news to see, what the volume is or what days can have, high volume for the market. So this looks live. Yeah, okay, cool. So for this week we have economic calendar. Okay, so the 26th we have, wait a minute, today is Saturday the 26th. Okay, Bank of England. These are all low impacting. The trading week starts on, let's say, the 28th. So Monday, nothing crazy. Tuesday, consumer sale or confidence for the euro. So euro volume, retail sales. Yeah, they got retail sales. So that morning during London session, we could be seeing some volume on Tuesday. And this is why I said, if you guys was on the live last week, I said Tuesdays are generally the days that start off the trend for the week. And that London session, that Tuesday London session is really a key session. London and New York session on Tuesday is definitely a key. Those are key sessions to potentially capitalize on some moves that you can hold for the whole week. So we have job openings. Is next week the start of the new month? If next week is the start of the new month, we should have NFP on Friday. Let's see. Let's go down. Yep, it surely is. Yeah, so we got NFP this Friday. Oh man. Yeah, so this is going to be a high volume week, and this is why this is my theory behind NFP. NFP is always the first Friday of every month. I believe that NFP sets up the monthly for where the monthly is going to go. So if we see this Friday, and let's go back to our charts because we talked about, seeing how this current monthly is closing. So let's bring up the charts again. So let's go back to the DXY and take a look at this. So remember how we was talking about on the monthly time frame, and let's go to the weekly so we can see the weekly. If price closes above this level here, we could see the next monthly continue to go up. Well, at the end of this week, we have NFP. So this area that we're in currently, if it doesn't get broken throughout the early on in the week, NFP is going to show us which way is. So it's either going to break or we're going to see a move down. That's likely what will happen. Because we have that NFP at the end of this week, that means the monthly can close off, and that'll be the start of the new monthly. So we only have 5 days, 8 hours yet until this monthly closes. So definitely keep an eye out for the DXY and the dollar this week. We have a lot of news that can be driving the markets. So let's go to USD JPY. USD JPY just bullish. It's just continued to buy up. It just broke for a new high on Friday. So Friday we seen a new high get created, and I would just look for price to create a corrective structure and continue pushing bullish until we get some larger time frame structures broken, and then we can start to see potentially a corrective sell down. And why do I say a corrective sell? Despite even if price comes all the way back to these lows down here, I say a corrective sell because on the larger time frame, and we looked at the monthly, this has some higher targets to still target based on the monthly time frame structure. And this, I talked about it in the Forex Funders Live, how we called these moves back in March of 2022 of price breaking these levels. And so it's still, and that's a whole year and some change ago. And that was when we broke out of this trend line here. And it wasn't just UJ, it was GJ as well. So I had sent the setup for both of them at the same time. They had just broken out of, let's see, where were we at? March. Yeah, so this was the breakout. Now, it didn't happen at the time, but we were looking for a continuation for price to continue pushing bullish up to here. And if we zoom out of this so we can see the structure better. So this was the structure I was looking at. And so when price broke, we anticipated that it would come back up to target these highs here. So overall, on the larger time frame, price has just been bullish. On the monthly, the daily, and it's not just bullish on the monthly. It's been bullish on the weekly. You can see the weekly is in a bullish way. The daily, you can see how the daily has been bullish, along with, you know, even the smaller time frames. So we want to just look to ride that. If the monthly is bullish, the weekly is bullish, the daily is bullish, 4 hours bullish, why will we look to do anything other than buy this? Because all of this, the signs point to, you know, it going up. So that's what we would do. So NZD USD, the next move for NZD USD, I want to see a break of this low here. Price just created a new low. I want to see a break of this low, a corrective structure, and a potential continue move down for EUR or for NZD USD. And y'all can definitely drop any, you know, charts you want to look at in the chat. Definitely drop those in there. And I'm gonna start going like live every weekend, and this is just gonna be a regular thing, and I'll likely start going live throughout the week too. I just want to, you know, I enjoy going live. I enjoy breaking down the charts. So definitely something that I'm gonna continue to do here in the future and really turn it up. I think it's the best way to learn is, you know, through these live sessions. So what I'm looking for, that's the best way I know that's the best way I've learned, at least. Corrective structure, continue push down. Very simple. Likewise with GJ, we thought we was already getting that move. It looks like we got the start of this move here now. So just like what we did last week with this with the sell move from, I believe, here. So when price had broke this low, we were in a bullish wave. We were in a bullish wave, and we said that this was our high created up here. This is my low created there. And so what I'm looking for, or what I was looking for, was a break of this low. I needed to see price break through this low, retest, and then continue. We would see our continued move down back to these levels here. And this trade actually passed me a couple funding challenges. I believe it passed me a 400K funding challenge and a 200K funding challenge with the Forex Funder with this move here. So my entry was like at 104, so right in there. Stop loss was at 261. I do remember that. So right like up here. And then take profit was like 363. Yeah, 363 or I think it was 3619. Oh yeah, it was something like 361. I don't remember. It was something like that. I remember the 19 being on the end. I made a video on it. That's the only reason why I specifically remember. So yeah, so that was that move there. We anticipated that we could potentially get a sell from this level here to break for this new low. We didn't get that. We got a steeper push back up. to retest. And honestly, price is still bearish until it breaks for this high, because this was the high that pushed the break for this low. So we just thought that this would be the earliest entry. It's looking like this is more so the entry. So what I would have to wait for now is I would want to see some type of corrective structure form in some form or fashion. And if we can get a pullback back up into these levels here, this continued move down for GJ would be a nice move. So I definitely like potential pullback plays on GJ. Even if we come to break this low here, a break of this, what level is this? A break of this 183.902 level would really be a good move, I think, if we get a pullback, corrective structure, sell entry for price to continue pushing down. So that's what I'm looking for next. We'll surely be applying the strategy next week. Hope we're gonna rock out this week. Yeah, I'm looking to have a great week this week. I definitely want to pass. I passed phase 1 of the 200K funding challenge, so I want to pass phase 2. I also want to, set myself up with a good payout from the 400K, and then also start trading this $1,000 to $10,000 challenge. And I was talking to somebody, they want to do a $1,000 to 1 million challenge, and I was like, well, I might as well do the 1,000 to 1 million. I think that would be absolutely ridiculous. I've never even thought to try something like that, so I think that'll be dope. I would have to have a solid plan, a solid plan, and I already do have a plan, but a plan to scale to 10K. I didn't know what I was going to do after I scaled to 10K, and I might just scale to 10K and then use that 10K to go to a million, and that be its own series. But I don't know. But these moves right here, especially this GJ and then AUD USD, I think could be good potential moves. Yeah, and then I definitely like EU after a break of these lows, but I wouldn't want to take a trade on EU until it breaks these lows. So it's like, if I was taking a trade, the first trade of the week would likely be either GJ or let's put a green on these. Nah, let's put a blue. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we got blue on them. So it'll likely be, AUD, USD, or GJ as my first trade for price to continue pushing down to target the lows. Or I would do, AUD, USD. One of those two. Those are, not UJ. AUD, USD. So I definitely want to be notified when price gets up to this level and when we get a break of this low. So GJ, sell, POI. Now, if the move for GJ and the move for AU happen at the same time, it's likely that I'll choose one or the other over the other. Or I would either, if I really do want to take both of them, I would cut half risk on both of them. So normally I would take a trade, let's say at 1% risk, I would take 2 trades at 0.5% risk, so that I only expose myself to 1% risk, because that's important for my strategy and for the longevity of the returns on my account. So I would make sure that I do that if I decide to take both. Now, any tips on how to pass the challenge? I had an account for about 2 weeks, a week or two, but still haven't passed phase 1. Take as much time as you need, and depending on where you are, like, okay, so this is my funded trading strategy. If I have a new account, I'm waiting on that first trade. I want that first trade to really be a good trade. And honestly, generally speaking, I would take that trade at like a 2% risk, but I honestly would just recommend taking it at a 1% risk. So you take that trade that will give you at least a 1 to 3, a 1 to 4, like at least a 1 to 3. So if you make 3%, because a lot of the targets are about 8%. With TFF specifically, it's 8%, but a lot of these other firms, it's about 8% as well. That's about the industry standard. You are up 3%. So now the next trade you take, make it also a trade that can go 1 to 3, but take it at 2% risk. Because worst comes to worst, you're now at 1%. But if you hit for your take profit, now you've made that 8% over that 8% that you actually needed. Because that would give you a total of what, 9%? You're up 3%. Took 2% at a 1 to 3 risk to reward, and then you're so that is that. But let's say you are in drawdown, then what I would do and what I personally do is I reduce my risk now. So if I'm in drawdown, I reduce my risk until I'm in positive. Then I'll take that trade again at 1% risk. And then if I make that trade, or if I make, the 3% on that trade, once I get up 3%, I'll take a trade at 2% risk, and then look to, pass. If not, I reset until I'm back up, above 3, and I just continue the process like that. But I always, if I'm in drawdown, reduce risk and just focus on slow, gradual build back up. Because at the end of the day, there's no time limit on it. So even if you just take a whole bunch of small, you want to keep the account. So even if you take a whole bunch of small trades and just work on building it back up, you can build it back up. My very first funded account, I was down literally 7% on the very last day to pass phase 1, and it just so happened to be an NFP Friday. I remember it clean as day because I was trading it was either EUR USD or EUR JPY, but whichever one it was, if it was EUR USD, then I took literally the exact copy trade on EUR JPY the next week. But I took the trade on NFP Friday right before the news. It had gave an indication that price was going down. I had nothing else to lose. I put 2%. I only had 3% to risk, so I put 2% on it, and I made 6%. And though I was excited I had made 6%, I was still down 1%. So I was like, I'm still, I'm not there yet. So then it was like okay, like this. We had got a move down. I made 6% on this move down. Price had did a pullback and allowed for a re-entry. So this re-entry right here. So I got in on the first trade, closed pretty much the first trade after I made the 6%. I still had a portion of that trade running, and it had ran for like a 1 to 3 or something like that. But then it gave me a re-entry opportunity, and I was like, you know what? I was down 7% this morning, and now I'm only down 1%. I'm gonna go ahead and try to, put the rest of it on it. So I took a trade. I did the math. I took a trade at 8%, literally looking to go I remember it specifically, 1 to 1.2 risk to reward. I was like, you know what? If I can, and the trade would have ran like a 1 to 3. So I just put 8% to go a 1 to 1.2 to pass that day, literally. And I'm not going to lie, I took that trade and it hit my take profit like, I want to say 2 hours before the markets had closed. And when it hit my take profit, I didn't calculate for commissions. So literally I would have passed that same day, but I was actually $50 short, and I had a $200 commission. So I didn't calculate for commissions, and I ended up getting an extension. And then that next week I took that EUR JPY trade and I passed phase 2 with like one trade. So you can always build back up, especially now that there's no time limit. There's no like time requirements. You can, even if you're down, max, nearly to your max, you can slowly build it back up. But it's going to take some good disciplined trades. Now, it's not easy to build back up, and it takes a lot longer because you have to reduce your risk. But, it's worth it. You don't have, there's no need to rush it. We don't have to rush this. Trading is one thing that you have to just require. They say like patience is gold, and in trading, that's a fact. Patience is literally gold. You have to have, patience to see success in this market, because you're not going to get a whole bunch of great moves every single day, and it just takes time. It just takes time. So let's take a look at gold. I really only am interested in EUR USD, AUD USD, and GJ. So those are to be the pairs that I take a look at. So price just created a new low after breaking for this low for gold. I would want to see these highs get respected. So I want to see these highs up here get respected and gold to continue pushing down to create a new low here down at 1903 levels. So that's what I'll be looking for gold, and then a potential move back down here to these 1884 lows. But for the past couple of days, gold has been bullish. Previous daily just closed bearish. I think that we could see, if we get like a bearish weekly, I think for NFP we start to see these lows down here be broken out of and a high volume move. Like that's just what would make sense to me. We push down the whole week, and then for NFP we get close to here. There's probably like a spike at the release and then a push back down through this low to break and close below these levels here. I think that would be like, that's just me forecasting, and we don't normally do predictions, but that's just what I could see as the most probable thing. Based on, you know, how price just already closed bearish, we could see a potential wick fill and a continuation down. If we see a wick fill and a continuation down, it's likely, especially if we get the next daily after that, to now close bearish. So let me draw this out because it would probably look way easier if I drew it out. So this is what I'm kind of seeing. So first day we get something like this, sell candle. Let's move this out. Why it's not letting me there we go. Come on now. All right, so let's say first move we get a sell candle, kind of like, okay, I don't think it'll be this big, but something like, let's say this, that breaks for a new daily low. It's taking me forever to draw this, way entirely too long. So we get a new daily low get broken. Previous daily low gets broken, we get a wick fill for a continuation down. The next daily will likely close bearish as well. Now we're talking, this is Tuesday, we get a bearish push down. Wednesday, we get something that looks maybe similar to either like this. And then for, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it could go slower. It could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm just saying, suspecting that Friday we would start to see these lows get broken here. And what Friday would do is Friday was set up for the next week, because we would have just completed some new lows, creations of new lows there, and we could potentially see a corrective structure then form and a continued push down. So this is how I, you know, expect to gold to play out, and kind of similar to like this wave here. So let's grab this wave. Let's see. What would be the best one? I want to get something similar. All right, let's just grab where we are at. Bars pattern. Or actually, hold on. Bars pattern. So from, let's say, this candle down is what I would expect for gold, for price to continue pushing, you know, kind of down like that. And then we get, and realistically it would be this whole entire wave here. So this whole wave we would get, and this is kind of what I would expect, something like that, for price to just continue pushing down for gold. So this is and if you're late, it's okay, don't worry. This stream will be up and posted, and you can go back in the stream and you can watch all the breakdowns from EURUSD all the way down. Now we're at gold. Pretty much expecting the same thing for all of them, but this is what I could see. Can I make this white? The blue is misleading. Well, yeah, I guess you can only have, yeah, I guess you can only have one color. But oh, I guess you could. This is just future reference. Hold on. So we grab this wave be white, and then we grab this wave, and this wave be blue. Yep, that's pretty much what I see for gold right there. All right, so that's what I would look for, and this is just based on the daily time frame. And honestly, the smaller time frame doesn't have to respect this. If we do see, like, this is how I would anticipate we get 1880 down to 1884. But if we just look on the 1 hour time frame, price just created a new low. We get a corrective structure. If this level holds and we get a bearish move from this level here, that'll be the earliest indication that we could see that potential the weekly outlook that we just anticipated play out, and then price begins to, you know, form highs. The new next daily would start a new low. Then we get a corrective structure that's just a top wick, daily close bearish, corrective structure, top wick, daily close bearish, corrective structure, top wick, super break on NFP for a continued push down. That's why it would look the way it would with as far as the candles and the outlook that we drew out. So that's what I would look for. So for USD CAD, let's take a look at USD CAD. USD CAD just broke for a new high. Well, I'm not gonna say it just broke. Oh no, it did. It's a 1 hour time frame. So it broke for a new high now, and we're at a key level, retest level in the markets. For USD CAD, for buys on this specific pair, what I would look for as far as a breakdown or as far as an entry, it came down, but it didn't come down to the level of demand here. So it didn't come down to our level of demand, but it has retested a key level. Now I will wait for a break above this level, and when we get a break back above this level, I want to see this low get respected, and we get that candle confirmation from there to target these highs up here. But if price just goes up and breaks for these highs, then now a corrective structure to do the same thing for price to continue pushing back up to whatever high is created would now be the target. So that's what I would expect for USD CAD. I don't really trade USD CAD, but that's just one of the things that I would look for. Nas, I don't really want to look at Nas. Nas had an impulsive move down the previous daily. This current daily is forming a corrective structure and is bullish, but it's likely that we just see a steeper push back up and then a continued move down with this volume that you see, this bearish pressure there, because we had a push up. The price was creating higher. Okay, let's just do the analysis. Price was creating higher highs and higher lows. Then we came down here, we created a low, we pushed down. When we broke this low here, because this is essentially our key low, and realistically this could be our key low as well. So these are all key levels here. Let's just go ahead. When price pushed down and corrected back up and then broke back again through this level, this was the earliest indication that price could come back to target back down to these lows, and this is the key low down here. Because this low never broke for a new high. This is our key low because this was our high. This had never broke for the high, so this can't be our key right here. This wouldn't be our, okay, so this is, let me break it down because I know I'm all over the place. Price never broke this high when we had this bullish wave up. We had relatively equal highs. If it would have broken this high, now this low here would be our key level, because we've seen price broke for a new high, breaking the high that was created. But since this level never broke for the high, this essentially is all one wave. So this here is all the wave that broke for the high, because it's the start of the move that broke for this high. So though we could see in these levels when price broke through, corrected, and gave some of that bearish indication, we could see it come back down to these levels. And especially now that we've broken these levels here, we've gotten now a corrective structure to retest those key levels that had been broken out of. And then we got volume to the downside. That's a good indication that price can continue pushing down starting from these levels now. That would be what I would expect. Now, I personally don't trade NAS, but just looking at the price action currently going on for NAS 100, that's what I would expect. And why on the daily time frame would I expect the next daily to form a top wick? Well, the previous daily closed bullish, so it's likely that the next daily potentially breaks the previous daily high, but that also lines up with all of this imbalance that we have here. So in order for price to form a steeper top wick, it has to break above this level here. But if we break above this level here, well, price has all of this clean candle price action to continue to potentially push up after creating a new high. And then I believe we could start to see, even if we get the next daily to close bullish after this daily, I think from there we would start to see now that move to the downside. So I do think that breaks above here and a retest would be a good move to capitalize on this imbalance to the upside there, though. On the challenges, I don't believe there's a commission on the challenges. I know there is a commission on the live account. I do know that for a fact. So lastly, we're going to take a look at US 30. I don't trade US CHF. Okay, so U30. Let's look at it on 1 hour. Push for a new low. It did come back to break for a new low here. Now, despite it breaking this previous lower high at this level, price can still continue to push down because where we're reacting off of is a key level in the markets, and the overall pressure on US 30 is to the downside. So it's likely that this could potentially hold, and what we would see is a push down now in a corrective structure, and then a continued push back down to the lows. That's what I would see for US 30 if I was looking to trade US 30, though this wave here is bullish. So we have essentially a high, a new high to break our previous low. This could be now a corrective structure. This wave broke for this new high, so we could see a corrective structure and then a potential, push up. But I think it's more likely that price continues pushing in the direction of the trend. And what would indicate that this is indeed bearish is we want to see a break of these lows here, corrective structure, and then some more of that bearish pressure and bearish volume come into the markets. Definitely a break below 34.032 would indicate that the larger time frame is in fact still bearish, and we could start to see it break for some steeper lows to target some deeper levels down there. So that's what I would look for. Overall market trend on the daily time frame, this wave has been bullish. We've been creating higher highs and higher lows, but on the smaller time frame, that's what I can see. Nothing has really indicated that. I mean, we could have just seen the earliest indication that this bearish wave is over just by the creation of that new higher low, and this would be the most early, not the most earliest, the earliest potential indication that price is now bullish. But we could see something like this where price had created a low and then broke these highs up here and continue pushing down. That's likewise what we could potentially be seeing right in this area. So I think that's more likely of what we're seeing in this area for US 30. So that's what I would be. And honestly, the sell pressure is apparently there. So just looking for buys within this wave just in general just doesn't look like the right move. So if anything, I would be looking for sells on US 30 as the next potential move. So that pretty much wraps up all the charts and all of this weekly, breakdown on here. Probably a little longer than I would have anticipated, but I think it's important to, to share all of this value. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Everybody who tuned in, I greatly appreciate it. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it, if you haven't liked already. And I'm looking to do this more consistently throughout the week. So I'm gonna get more on top of it, and I really want to grow this page. I really want to help as many people as possible. So um yeah, it's just all gas, no brakes right now. I just got some new monitors set up, so I'm ready to lock in, and I hope you guys are ready to lock in too. So thank you for tuning in and trying to get 1% better, and I hope you got 1% better because of this live today. And I'll see you guys at the start of the new week.